March 10th, 2023, the world awakened to a stunning event in the Middle East. The nations of Iran and Saudi Arabia announced that they had agreed to reestablish diplomatic relations that had been severed for decades. The two nations reopened their respective embassies, exchanged ambassadors, and brought an end to decades of proxy wars fought between the two nations, most recently in Yemen. But what was perhaps most astonishing of all was the fact that such a peace deal was reached not in the halls of Washington or the corridors of Brussels, but instead in the landings of Beijing. In many respects, the Western ruling elite were caught off guard, seeing to their shock a new political order rising, not simply in the Middle East, but indeed all over the world. What happened between Iran and Saudi Arabia is, as it turns out, just the tip of the iceberg of an extraordinary transformation. China's become not simply a major player in the Middle East, China is now the major player in the region. China is the #1 trading partner and the biggest foreign investor among the oil-rich Gulf nations. And as such, China is not only dominating and transforming the region, but is securing, along with its alliance with Russia, its own energy needs for the foreseeable future. When China launched its massive worldwide Belt and Road Initiative in 2013, the Middle East became one of its largest beneficiaries. The Belt and Road Initiative seeks to develop strong economic ties with developing nations through China's investing in massive infrastructure projects around the world. One of those projects is the creation of a groundbreaking and futuristic city known as Neom in Saudi Arabia. With its ambitious plans of housing upwards of 9 million residents immersed in a futuristic world of artificial intelligence, this project has the potential to make Saudi Arabia a global superpower and position Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as one of the most influential and powerful figures in the world. China is financing the building of Neom to the tune of $500 billion, as well as a host of other projects involving Saudi Arabia's energy sector, technology logistics, construction, tourism, and a burgeoning medical industry. In the Islamic pilgrimage center of Mecca, the China Railway Construction Corporation built what has become one of the world's busiest lines, which provides transport for the millions of pilgrims visiting Mecca every year. Moreover, China has constructed the Haramain high-speed rail project, which connects Mecca and Medina, the two holiest sites in Islam, benefiting millions of pilgrims and reducing travel time. But it's not just Saudi Arabia. Wait until you see what China is doing in the nation of Iraq. Hey gang, I know what it's like to feel alone out there in these turbulent times, but I broke free. If you too have been looking for a community with like-minded patriots who are serious about resisting globalism, building a parallel economy, and having intelligent and deep fellowship on a regular basis, then you've come to the right place. In my Courageous Patriot Insiders community, we're building a close-knit movement of, by, and for patriots who are breaking free from the outrage and despair cycles of the mainstream media and taking on the fight against globalism. Every week, I deep dive into the content I can't share on big tech and give you the cliff notes on the truth of how patriots just like you are building up their communities, starting patriot businesses, and fighting the woke in both public and private. All with a few history and political lessons from yours truly, of course. If you want to stop feeling alone as a patriot and stand together with this fast-growing community, be sure to click on the link in the description below. Don't wait. Join me and my Patriot Coalition today, and let's get fighting. Two Chinese companies recently won a contract to build upwards of an astonishing 8,000 schools through the nation for Iraq as part of a landmark Oil for Projects agreement signed by the two countries. China has, for the last several years, been actively engaged in Iraq, helping to rebuild infrastructure, healthcare facilities, and even the revitalization of the Nasiriyah International Airport. Again, it's all part of this highly successful Belt and Road Initiative, and it hardly ends with Iraq. The nation of Qatar is also growing, especially close to China, particularly in the areas of energy, investments, and security. Qatar has invested significantly in China's healthcare, infrastructure, and property sectors and has become an important supplier of natural gas to China. trade volume between Qatar and China has increased dramatically, with, as you may have guessed, China surpassing the U.S. as Qatar's largest exporter. Additionally, Qatar has rather covertly acquired short-range ballistic missiles from China, further indicating an expansion of their security cooperation. Now, all of this, of course, ultimately leads to the question, to what end? What's really going on here? And it appears that we don't have to look very far for just that answer. It's being widely reported that Saudi Arabia and China are in talks to price Saudi Arabia's oil sales in the yuan, the Chinese currency, rather than in dollars or euros. Similarly, both the UAE and Qatar have been trading with China using the yuan in direct payments, circumventing the US dollar, the default international currency. But it's not just the Middle East. It's being widely reported that China and France have just completed their first yuan-settled liquefied natural gas trade. Brazil and China have reached an agreement to ditch the dollar and conduct their cross-border trade with the yuan as well. All told, the percentage of global reserves in U.S. dollars has fallen from 72% in 1999 to just 59% today. A new political order truly is rising, not just in the Middle East, but throughout the world. The question is whether the dolts in D.C. have the foresight to see such an emerging world, or will it pass them by? Only time will tell. But in the meantime, China's Belt and Road initiatives continue, with all roads increasingly leading to Beijing.